Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Gatesy, and that's my dog. You probably just heard her. Thanks for joining us. This is our Three Lions review following on from the England-Germany game. I'm going to bring in the other contributors. First man, Mr. Duke, how are you, sir? The often used phrase is, you are on mute.
I am. I know. Yes is the answer to Tom's hashtag there. Yes.
It may well be.
Every day, yes, right now. That's how I'm feeling.
It was pretty special yesterday. Also waiting in the wings, Mr. Andy Miles. How are you, sir?
I'm not going to lie, gents. They say you shouldn't go out on a school night, and I admit you shouldn't go out on a school night.
But you did anyway, didn't you?
Yeah, of course I did.
Good.
I was only there a couple of hours. We had a good 8 or 9 pints.
Sounds like a good time was had.
So, how about you?
Was you busy yesterday?
I won't tell you one of the tabs that was had in my pub. I'll just give you an idea that a couple of the guys, there were 6 of them, and there was 85 pints amongst the 6 of them on that table. That was
Fair
their
play.
tab. So yeah, they had a good night. I Supermaned across the floor, not deliberately. I was absolutely cleaned out by a gentleman as we were celebrating the first goal. I was ready to cheer. Took 3 steps forward. After the first step, he trod on the back of my leg accidentally as he jumped off his chair and sent me into a Superman dive. Which looked even better considering I was wearing the St George's Cross as a cape. So as you see me on the CCTV,
please tell me that's been uploaded to YouTube, please.
No, we're not allowed to because it's GDPR. So we're not allowed to have that recorded, but it's there and I've seen it and it's quite amusing. But it was worth it. It was worth it.
Okay. Before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. And please don't forget, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell icon. You'll be notified of any new content as and when it's uploaded to the channel. So if you've enjoyed it, come back. There's plenty more where that came from.
You know?
So, gentlemen, let's get into the meat and potatoes of why we are actually here.
So yesterday
there was just steady. I'm a happily married man, and so are you. Anyway, so this is the team that was put out. Now, I think it's fair to say that initially this was a lineup that a lot of people, and probably myself included, and I'll hold my hands up to that one, looked at and went, wow, that's a bit conservative to say the least. I mean, you've got, 10 outfield players and 7 of them are defenders or defensive-minded players, if you will.
Yeah.
Where's our creativity? Where's our craft? Where's our guile? Where's the sort of like the player that's going to unlock it? Duke, was you thinking along the same lines as me? Was you a bit concerned looking at that?
No, if I'm honest with you, I was actually one of the few in the pub at the time. And I must admit, the team that I put together the day before when we did our preview show, it was kind of wishful thinking. Southgate got away with it. Let's not mess around. He got away with it, and we got the result. So there's going to be no bashing from me. There's going to be no bad mouthing of Gareth and his formation. It's 7 players on the pitch. You want to know something? There were times probably after the first 10 minutes actually that I felt we outplayed the Germans. Massive kudos to Jordan Pickford. He did really well out there. He commanded that box, not just for the save he had to make, or the 2 saves that really come to mind, but he dominated his area. He came out when he needed to come out. He commanded the players in front of him. Declan Rice and Phillips there in the middle of the park picked up 2 yellow cards very, very quickly in a 90-minute game, if you will. playing the best part of an hour with two of your defensive midfielders on yellows. But you know what? Listen, we came out on top. I'm not gonna slate the side. Yes, there were 7 defensive players on that pitch at that, but when we kicked off, and yeah, as Tom says there, turns out he picked exactly the right team, regardless.
When you say Southgate got away with it, what do you mean he got away with it in terms of the result?
If that had backfired on him, mate, if we'd lost that, he would have been absolutely vilified, and I, for one, would have been one of the ones doing the vilifying. He got away with it, Gatesy. There's no two ways about it. It was the right team. It was the right lineup. It could have quite easily been the wrong team, the wrong lineup, the right format, the wrong formation. But he got it. He got the result. We move on. Win the next round. So job done, really. Roll on Ukraine Saturday.
Milesy, your thoughts on the lineup? Do you agree with Duke that he got away with it in terms of sort of like picking that lineup and we got the result, or do you think it was a tactical genius on the part of Southgate?
You can't really criticize. I like the comment like David Moyes. David Moyes would have probably set up in that formation and look at the results we've had this season. So you can't really sit there and do it. But the one thing I will say is, I know we're going to get to player ratings in a minute. That is the best game I've seen Luke Shaw play in probably about 6 years. Not for club and country. I've never seen. He was involved.
Agreed.
He was aggressive. He was amazing, and you can't take nothing away from him. I thought Trippier had a very good game. That is why Southgate picked him. In my opinion, it should have been Ward-Prowse, but would Ward-Prowse get in the team? What a delivery of the ball he is. Is amazing. And yeah, Pickford for me proved why he was England's number one. And yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I've got to admit, I thought we were going to lose, but as soon as them injury concerns started to come around, obviously Gundogan being out, I think Rudiger he was a doubt. He didn't look 100%, and we thrived on it. My only criticism was I would have loved to have seen Jack Grealish in there instead of Saka, but we'll talk more what happened when Grealish come on later on. But that I was happy with that team.
But to be fair to Saka, I mean, he came in the game previously against the Czech Republic, and he really grabbed the nettle, in my opinion. And I personally think that Saka was there on merit.
No, I agree. He was there on merit, but I'm just trying to think of an example. Like Chelsea, for example, if Chelsea are playing a Stoke like 5 years ago, you wouldn't play Giroud up front. You'd play Werner. Do you know what I mean? You play to your strengths because they're big, and that's yeah. No, I agree, Tom, 100%. But no, yeah, Saka had a good game, but it's just my personal preference of who had been able to unlock the defense more. It would have been Grealish, but no, Saka had a good game, but the back three very, very solid. Really, when you think about it, they only got through twice. That, don't get me wrong, it could have been costly, but yeah, for me, Kyle Walker, he has to start the next game in that position. I think he will go with. I think he will.
You think we're
I
going
think he'll
3-4-3?
change a foot. No, I think we'll go back to a 4 at the back. Okay. I think we will go back to a 4, and I can see Grealish replacing Trippier or something like that to man it up a bit, because I think if they're going to do what we done to Germany, Ukraine. So yeah, that's for me. But no, if you look at that team, yeah, for me, Muller is a great player, very great player, but they should have went with the youth, Gnabry or Sane, and I think that would have been a different game in my opinion. Don't know about you, Duke or Gatesy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when Gnabry came off the bench, I stood there and kind of held my head in my hands and like, oh, here we go. He's a good player. I like Serge Gnabry. But I've got to say, all in all, boys, as I said earlier, bar Werner getting in and the save. I'm not sure who had the volley from the edge of the box.
Kai Havertz.
Was it Havertz that Pickford put
Yeah.
over? And then obviously Thomas Muller's. I would have put my house on it. That miss. That was it. That's all they had.
Pickford made a save from Werner as well, didn't he?
Yeah, that was the one when he got down. Yeah, the first one. Now, for me, I don't think Germany played badly. I just think we took our chances when it mattered, and I think we ground them down. We absolutely ground them down as a side. One of my favourite parts of the game was I'm not sure if it was Goossens or if it was Havertz out on the wide side, and he was having a bit of a to-do right by where Southgate was standing. He was having a bit of a to-do, and Calvin Phillips just came in, took the ball, and took every single part of that player, dumped him straight on his arse, walked away. Southgate's in the background clapping. Crowd were then up, like even in the pub, everyone was on their feet, clapping, cheering. Because
I think the crowd played a massive part. If in fairness,
they did. Yeah, they did. We ground them down. We tired them out. Let's not mess around. We tired them out, and then when it mattered, on come Grealish, and he was involved in both goals. And no doubt we'll cover that in a bit. But I just thought that. Yeah, once Grealish came on, although he was being deployed out on the left-hand side, I still think he made a massive difference. Him and Luke Shaw combined really well when Grealish came on, especially for the 2 goals, as we say. And you know what? The England Twitter feed yesterday put something out about just how good was this guy, and it was Declan Rice's heat map. And Gio from Hammer's Chat quoted the tweet, and he said something about he wasn't just good, he was exceptional. He had essentially two number 10s in front of him. He had a quality midfield that was there, and you know what? He didn't look overawed. He took a yellow card for the team when it looked like they were going to break through and score. So. I don't know other people. I thought Declan Rice yesterday was outstanding. Jack Grealish made the difference when he came on. But you know what? Like I say, we ground them down. The game plan was there. We got it right. We executed it right, and we got the win. Let's not mess around.
Did you get a little bit concerned when the referee blew for the foul on Declan Rice? Because I don't know if you saw it, but for a split second, the referee exposed the red card.
No, because if you watch it back, and I actually saw it in open play, so in no way, shape or form was I concerned. But as the tackle was being made, or as the foul was being made by Deck, I think it was Walker got back in there and cleared the ball as the foul was in place. So he wasn't the last man. So I saw that happening in real time. And when he pulled out yellow and the red was there, he did it later on in the game for I think it was Goossens. He showed a yellow to Goossens, but again he didn't just take his yellow, he took his red, his yellow, and his notebook out of his pocket, and you're kind of looking at him going, just pick one. Like, come on, behave yourself. But no, I mean, like I say, it wasn't a red, it was a free kick, it was a yellow. He took one for the team. It stopped the breakaway because that first goal was the key to the entire game. Didn't matter when it came or who it went to. That first goal was the key to how it was going to pan out. And Declan Rice took one for the team. I thought he was outstanding yesterday. One of many. I know my brother was banging on old slabhead Maguire. Had a good game. I'd like to think he knows where the goal is, and I'd like to think that Gareth's got him on the training ground now, showing him the angles of where the goal would be if he's running in from a certain angle, because that could have been a huge difference. That would have been key. But the whole team as a whole, they played fantastically, and I stand out for me. Pickford done well, Declan Rice done well. Slightly biased, we're always down channel, but. Grealish coming off the bench made the difference for me.
Up to that point, were you a little bit concerned, Duke? Did you sort of like, do you think that up to that point it was a little bit boring, dare I say?
No, as I've already mentioned, game plan, Gatesy. Our game management and time management in that game was absolutely spot on. I do have a criticism of a certain player, but I'll save that when we hit the player ratings. I think I discussed it a little bit with you last night. But I thought our game plan, we nailed that. You know, Gareth asked them to go out and play a certain way. They went out, they played a certain way. Like I say, they ground the Germans down. They ground them down. They knackered them out. We did what we did. And after that first goal, yes, all right, the Muller incident could have really put us on a setback. But I thought our time management in the last 10, 15 minutes was exceptional. I thought the game plan was played out.
Germanic,
exactly.
would you say, Duke?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I would. Yeah.
We out-Germaned Germany.
You know what? We outplayed. We out time managed and game managed any other team that's played in the Euros so far. You look at France against the Swiss the other night. They couldn't see out the last 10 minutes. You look at Spain, couldn't see out those last 10 minutes of 90 minutes against Croatia. Pardon me. So, we did what the others couldn't in those last 10 minutes, and we saw the game out. And it was exceptional. And I have to say, at the end, when the whistle blew, and I was standing there looking around me at everyone cheering, I'm man up to say tears in the eyes, Gatesy, because it meant so much at that point. It really did. It was such a big result.
Sorry, what's going
on?
Have
you frozen on us, Gatesy, or are you there?
Oh, hello?
I think he's frozen. What? Andy, talk to me, because I don't know where Gatesy is in a minute.
Yeah, no. We'll probably start talking about it at half time. I'm not going to lie, the drinks were flowing, but I wasn't panicking. I honestly thought the first 10 minutes we had a bit of a scare. We didn't have the ball, but really apart from that, we were in control. And in my opinion, if anyone else other than Declan Rice and Phillips were in that midfield, I think we would have lost that game. Literally, the pressing, what both of them done at the same time, they were on them. And I've got to give full credit to them both, especially with, like what we mentioned, Deck playing pretty much 80 minutes on a yellow card, still putting his body on the line. And the game changed when Grealish come on. And I don't know about you, gents, but when Sterling picked it up for the first goal, I was like, what is he doing? I thought he was running into two players and he was going to lose it. I don't know about you at first, but then obviously he managed to find Kane, and we'll go from there because he done it 3 times before that and he lost the ball. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, that's my criticism. As I say, I'll go there now as soon as you've brought that up. Yep. That was going to be my criticism in the player ratings. I personally think if Man City go in and get Harry Kane on one condition is to sign for City, as long as they sell Raheem Sterling, because I don't know what Sterling's problem is, but he doesn't like passing to Harry Kane. Well, he doesn't like passing full stop. He doesn't like passing to Harry Kane. I don't know what it is. I for one, I'll be honest, I screamed and I shouted a bit at the TV for Harry Kane's miss when he tried to take a touch with his left and bring it onto his right, and it was a bit of a heavy touch, and it allowed Hummels to come back in. Tottenham, Harry Kane would have scored that. It would have swung his left foot, and it's 1-0. But it was the fact that if you noticed in the earlier in the game when Werner broke clear, it was a through ball in the channel to Werner to get in for Pickford to make the save. Sterling could have done that 4 or 5 times to Harry Kane yesterday. and for whatever reason didn't make the passes, and it annoyed me. It annoyed me because he's done it. He's done it so many times throughout this tournament so far that Kane's there, and Kane is knackered. Kane is blown out of his arsehole, but I think the goal is going to will revitalise him. It will push him on, and Ian Wright did
Massive
turn around and
confidence
say,
boost, isn't it?
Yeah.
"Oh, huge!" Ian Wright turned around and said yesterday, "I don't care whether he didn't score in the group games. He's scoring at the business end of the tournament, and that's what matters." You know what? There it is. I don't care whether he gets 8 goals in the group games and then doesn't score again in the rest of the tournament, and we look shoddy and crap. He didn't score in it, but I want him to score now. This is where it matters. This is where it counts now.
This is the business end.
This is where we need it. Yeah, and I'm pleased for him. I'm pleased for him. When you saw him, when you saw his face after the ball went in the back of the net, and let's get it right. It wasn't an easy finish because he had to consult his head, his neck, and his shoulders, upper body into some sort of weird kind of Quasimodo-esque kind of finish. But he did well to get on it. He got such a solid connection. I know people watching was right in front of him. It's easy, isn't it? I don't think they understand the pace that ball was coming in, the pressure the poor bastard's under from not just not scoring in the earlier games, but the fact that he's also playing on his mind, the pressure of the players around him, knowing that this goes in, this is us won it. Plus effort to get your body in that kind of ridiculous bang, brilliant, great finish. I'm so pleased for him. I really am.
Okay, gents, let's go on to the player ratings then, shall we? I'll start with you, Mr. Miles. So let's start with the goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford. Your rating out of 10, sir. No half marks.
Yeah, I know. I don't do half marks. I only done minuses on the Scotland game, wasn't it?
yeah. We to be fair, we allowed that, but
yeah.
Again,
right.
just to say, we've had 4 clean sheets out of the 4 games in this tournament, and don't forget there was also 2 clean sheets in the friendlies that preceded it. So that's 6 successive clean sheets. I can't remember if there might have been another one before that, but it's at least 6. You sort of go defensively. You're that strong, then you're going to do all right. It works very well for Germany and Italy down the years, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Being defensively strong. So, anyway, Pickford.
We say it. I think we've said it at the last review. I think it was a Scotland. I missed the Czech Republic one. Jordan Pickford for England is totally different to Jordan Pickford for Everton. Totally different. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a goalkeeper coach or whatever, but he just comes back into life. And I'm going to give him a solid 9 out of 10
That's a bit
for
harsh,
the 2
isn't it,
saves.
from Luke?
Oh dear. He's
9
not
out of
it's not
10.
even playing,
Luke,
and he's getting.
Luke agreed with you on that, but he said Ben Rama only got a 3. I'll tell you what, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Or is that a
Luke. I'll tell
minus
you what,
3?
You're going to get some complaints coming in. It's nothing.
Or is that a minus 3?
It's nothing to do with us, ladies and gentlemen. That's Luke. It could be a minus. No, because then Pickford would be a -9, wouldn't he? So that's got to be just 3.
But no, 9 for me.
So I think that's rather harsh. So, Mr. Duke, Jordan Pickford,
all day long, same as the others have been making in the comments, and same as you, Andy. It was a 9, as I say. Commanded his box. He was. I mean, he was very only very, very short of being a 10 for me.
Just don't need to bring his height into it.
Considering as well, he commanded. He's really good. Gio again on the Hannah's chat on his social media. He put the Pickford's a good shout for player of the tournament. If we go through the rest of this season, no goals. I mean, he's made some good saves. Sterling has scored 3 goals in 4 games, but let's get it right. If he doesn't score another goal in the tournament, yet England don't concede, what's stopping Pickford from picking up that trophy? He's definitely going to be the goalkeeper for for the tournament for me anyway. So but no, a massive 9. What about you, Rob? What was your take?
I would probably. I'm going to go 8, and I'll explain my logic because it might seem harsh, but 8's a bloody good score. 8's a bloody good score. Let's not muck about. But I'm gonna reserve the 9 for the guy who I think was the man of the match, and I'll come to him later. So,
Okay.
I'm only going to give a 10, and this guy doesn't. The one that I've picked as man of the match gets a 9 because I think to be a 10 you have to be on just a completely different level in my scoring system. So I give Pickford an 8 because my man of the match I have to give him 9, but he doesn't quite hit the 10 for me. So that's my logic for him getting an 8. But 8's a bloody good score. So there you go. But I mean, he made a great save. He made a great save from Werner. He made a brilliant save from the tip over from Havertz at the beginning of the second half. And yeah, I just think he looked solid. He looked confident. He looked everything that you want from an England number 1.
His distribution was on point. Sorry, I forgot to add that.
Oh, but that's standard with Pickford. I mean, one thing you can level many criticisms at Jordan Pickford that maybe sometimes his concentration level can waver, and that seems to be more something that happens when he's wearing the Everton shirt rather than the England one. The one thing I will say, I don't really remember him having a rank bad game for England. I've seen him have some bad games for Everton, but not for England. I can't really think of any. So, in an England shirt, he's everything that we want in an England goalkeeper. He's commanding, he's strong, he's a good shot stopper. He can pull off world-class saves, and he's good with his feet. He can spray balls 40, 50, 60 yards to feet. No problem at all.
I'll tell you what. If Rafa comes in and he wants a different number 1, I'll tell you where I'll be going for a next goalkeeper at West Ham.
Can I ask you this? Do you reckon his positioning for the Thomas Muller miss had anything to do with?
Yes, I do.
The Muller miss.
I do.
Yeah,
I think.
I actually think if Muller had taken his time, he scores that because Pickford's I think it was his right foot was absolutely planted solid, and he was going the wrong way. He was going the wrong way. If Muller had just taken maybe another second or maybe half a second, he's going to notice that he had his head down. If he'd looked up and actually taken a look at Pickford, Pickford's standing foot was planted. His right foot was planted, and he was getting ready to go to his left. And if Muller had just taken a little bit more composure, taken a little bit more time, he would have found the back of the net with that. So that'll be my only criticism of Pickford. There was that he actually planted that foot and kind of put himself in a tricky situation. Luckily, it didn't go in.
Yeah, but you say that. I actually think he held his ground for as long as possible, and he put a little bit of an element of doubt in Thomas Muller's mind, which is why he missed it.
Maybe.
So anyway, moving on. So we'll go with the right. Yeah, he's you know what you're going to get with Luke. You know what you're going to get with Luke. Behave yourself. You. Get in the corner, Mr. Steve. Get in the corner. Stay there. So we'll move to the right of the 3 centre backs. So we'll go for Kyle Walker. Andy.
Give him a 7, mate. I thought he was good. He used his pace sometime. God's sake, boys. I suppose they're going to bring the Muller right stroke out again as well, wouldn't they?
Don't.
I've already heard that 3 times today as well. I thought he commanded his. I thought he done well. He went forward when it overlapped Trippier when he had the opportunity. He's probably been one of our most consistent players in the tournament, in my opinion, as well. So no, just a 7 for me. So yeah, I'll stick with that.
Duke,
I'll give him an 8. If I'm honest with you, I thought he again like Cresswell, and he's shown it. He has shown it with City that he can slot in there And I think it was a really good choice there by Southgate to put him as part of a back three because he has the pace, and when you've got the chance of Nabry coming off the bench, Werner's not exactly slow. You've got that pace in there, and it showed. So for me, it was an 8.
I'm going to go an 8 as well. I thought he was very good yesterday. I think he's if we play 3 at the back, I think he's nailed on for the right of the 3, in my opinion. I know he's a fullback by default, but he can play that role superbly. And because obviously he's quite an offensive player, despite the fact he's obviously a defender, but for a defender, he's quite offensive. He gives you that he's someone that can bring the ball out from defense into the midfield areas and start the attacks moving. And I think yesterday he showed both facets of his game, defensive, offensive. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to go 8. So we move to the centre. John Stones. Andy.
I'll give him an 8. The reason why he gets one more than Walker for me is I'm not just saying it. I thought Harry Maguire had a good game, but I thought Stones helped him out big time as well yesterday. Got him out of jail. I thought a couple of times Maguire's decision making was poor, but Stones, being his mate as well, got him out of jail. So yeah, I'm going to give Stones an 8.
Duke?
Yeah, I'm going to go with an 8. I think he was. I think they were solid back there. I think all the boys were very good. They held their ground. They defended stoutly, defended resolutely, and I just all round play was good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you, boys. I'm going to give him an 8. It's one of those. If we did do half marks, I might sort of say, could I give him a 7.5? Because I sort of like,
Yeah,
I'm like it's one or the other. I'm probably feeling generous because we won, and B, it was a clean sheet, and C, it was Germany. So I'm going to stuff it. I'm going to give him an 8. Why not? Why not? I'm the one that start broadcast, so I can do it. Stuff it. 8. Harry Maguire, Andy.
6 for me.
Slabhead, your favourite.
6 for
that's
me.
harsh.
No, it's not.
Go on.
He's a professional football player, and that header, he's already lost 1 mark before I even criticised him anymore. I think that was poor, very poor. If someone done that on a Sunday League team, I think they'll be getting criticised as well, in my opinion. I thought a couple of his decisions cost us, but lucky it didn't cost us. Sorry, I'm not a huge fan of him either. That may have some influence on it, but no, if for me, he wasn't the limelight. So yeah, for me, 6.
I think we got a few people that are respectfully showing that they're disagreeing.
Everyone's got opinion.
Yeah, of course. I'm not saying you're wrong. Steve says he was an 8. Maguire thinks that Luke thinks that 6 was a bit harsh. Tom as well is being a little bit defensive of Mr. Maguire. As you say, maybe it's that you are not particularly a Maguire fan, but to be fair, again, as you said, it's your opinion. If you say he's a 6, then as far as you're concerned, he's a 6. That's it. Job done. Duke?
I just like I said, it was that header as well, which really put me off as well. So
that's cool, mate.
Yeah.
Duke?
Yeah. I mean, I'll go as 7. And the reason I'm going to go with 7 is what you've just touched on there is that header. He lost a point for that header because, grand scheme of things, could have lost us momentum, could have lost us the game if that hadn't have gone in. Now, I think he carried the ball out of defence really well. I think he travelled with the ball. I think he held the ball well. I don't think he had a bad game. But he loses that point for that header for me, which gives him a 7.
Yeah, I'd say 7's probably a fair mark. I don't think he had a bad game. Again, yes, the header was disappointing, but fundamentally, I mean, as Steve says there, you know, he is a defender. That's his bread and butter. You know, yes, he gets up for set pieces. He's pretty good in the air.
Dylan
Whatever.
Dix was a defender.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, he's part of a defense that's all right. Not in the first 2 games, but matches 3 and 4, he's been part of defense that hasn't been breached. So, you know, he's doing something right. He's part of, you know, the base that we're building, you know, our progression in the tournament on. And like I say, for me, I think if he'd have got that header on target at the very least, I'm not saying he has to score, but if he gets it on target and he forces a save out of Neuer, then I think that he probably would be nudging into the 8. I agree with you. He loses a point for that, but I think he's, you know, I think
probably
about right.
The thing what made me go another mark was his positioning for Muller's chance. Don't get me wrong, I know it was on the counter. If Tyrone Mings was there, Tyrone Mings catches Muller as well, in my opinion. That's the reason as well. His pace lets him down as well for me. So I know Sterling gave the ball away, but yeah, that it may seem like I'm being harsh, but it's like I said, it's opinions. It's all about opinions.
Exactly. And remember, they're just like a-holes, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody's got one. In your opinion. Okay, Duke.
Yes.
So Milesy, who are we moving on to next? It's the right wing back. We'll go Kieran Trippier.
7 for me.
French now.
Trippier.
Trippier.
I have a pint of Trippier.
I've been watching Fools and Horses. What can I say?
Mons too. No, I'll give him a 7, mate. He done his defensive job well, and he done what he was asked to on the set pieces as well. All of them were on the money, and unfortunately, it didn't fall on an England head. So yeah, done his job. I've always been a big fan of his. I'm an even bigger fan of him now. He left the club in North London. So yeah, 7 for me.
Do you think he's become a better all-round player since he's been under the tutelage of Diego Simeone?
100%. 100%.
All day long.
And don't forget, this is a player that was our best player at the World Cup 3 years ago. So
going forward, he's always had that in abundance. But what Atletico has done for him defensively is, take my hat off to him.
Fair enough. Duke?
I will go an 8. I agree with Steve. I thought his deliveries were spot on. They were into the danger zone, like you say. It just was unfortunate many times that there was a German head there first. His delivery was spot on. And I just think he broke up, played down the wings really well. You know, Goossens and Havertz and Kimmich, Goretzka, they didn't really get into the game. You know, other than the yellow card for Goossens and being nudged out of it at the back post by Walker, I think it was, on the cross. I don't recall hearing, you know, those key German names too often in the game. You know, Havertz, Werner, Müller, Gnabry when he came on. And as I said in our stream on Monday night, Kimmich isn't a right back. It's like asking Declan Rice to go play right back. He'll give it a go, but it doesn't work. And for me, that proved it. You know, Kimmich isn't a wing back. But no, I thought Trippier commanded as well. You know, when he took the free kicks, etc. You know, you could see that he was, this is mine, I'm taking it, kind of thing. And I like that from him. I think he's improved significantly defensively in the last 3 years. And you know, he's got a good international career ahead of him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to go with an 8 as well. Again, same as you. I thought defensively he was very, very solid. I thought offensively, he as you say, his deliveries were on point. You know, he was putting the ball into the danger zones, and he was asking questions of the German back line. So, and he was doing it consistently for me. So 8, I thought he was really, really good down our right hand side. So we'll come inside to the central midfielders. So we'll go Mr. Calvin Phillips, first of all. Milesy.
9 for me.
Okay.
I thought him and Declan Rice were top draw. Different role than what he's played in the previous games. I think he's been told to sit there and let the other people do the talking. Like what the tackle springs to mind, what Duke said, the one right in front of Gareth Southgate. I think that got the crowd up. Yeah, he's a very good passer of the ball as well. He's very good with it, exactly the same as Deck. So yeah, top draw performance for me. Yeah, so a 9.
Superb. Duke.
Coming into the tournament, wasn't quite sure what the fuss was about Calvin Phillips. You know, we've seen it for the last 18 months with opposition fans belittling Declan Rice for their love of a player in their team of a similar standing. You know, Longstaff at Newcastle, Phillips at Leeds, etc., etc. And if I'm honest, I didn't see the fuss. If I'm honest, I didn't really get why he was going. You know, I thought we've got Deck. Why do we need? You know, but I'll hold my hands up, and the kid's been outstanding. He really has. I wouldn't go as far as the other guys in the chat, in the live chat and with Andy there. Give him an 8. So a couple of times his positioning wasn't fantastic. He was caught out a little bit wanting. But again, he's young. He's developing. I think it's his first big tournament in international level. Again, he's another one with a great career in front of him at the international level. But yeah, a very, very good player. Certainly can hold on to the ball. He's learning when it's the right time to make a pass as well. So, and just to comment on Tom there, we finished 6th. We are a big club. Just going to leave that one there.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we're not just
we are one. We are. Let's not muck about. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I thought he was a good player before this tournament, but I did kind of think, are the Leeds fans kind of overrating him? You know, he's only had one season as a Premier League player. Let's not get too carried away. But I got to say, I've watched him the last 4 games for England, and I see what the fuss is about massively. I see what the fuss is about. 8 for me. I think he was really, really good in central mid. He was energetic. He was making challenges. He was driving forwards when he had the opportunity to supplement the attacks. I think, you know, him and Rice. I agree with what Tom says there. I would not be surprised if there is a team out there that wants them both. You know, that's. You know, that I struggle to think of another central midfield partnership in this European Championships that have impressed me as much as these two. And don't forget, these are 2 guys that are still in their infancy as far as, you know, international football's concerned. I mean, there's still so much more scope to improve. They're nowhere near their peak, the pair of them. It's you know, barring any unforeseen circumstances, you know, I'd love to know where they're going to be in, say, 4 or 5 years. You know, if they carry on at this trajectory, what on earth are they going to be like?
Calvin's 25, isn't he? So he's got a couple of years on deck. But yeah, you hit your peak in a couple of years. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, but I'm going to give Calvin Phillips an 8. I don't think 8 is a bad score. If there's Leeds fans watching this that think I'm being a bit, you know, mean, but you know,
it's just
my opinion, as you said earlier. You know, I think 8's a good score. Declan Rice, over to you, Milesy.
I'm going to give him a 9 as well. I just, like I keep saying it, that they both complement each other. The thing what done me was that second goal when Deck got cramp. Did you see him? Anyone else would have rolled around like they got shot. Did you see him just try and get back on the pitch and stuff like that as well? The runs what he made going forward, as I know he didn't get them a couple of times, but offering the ball down the line, and then he was back before anyone else. we know what Deck's about, and we mentioned it. I don't know whether we mentioned it at the start or off air, that the criticism, what people are still giving Deck, I think it's jealousy now. I don't think it's criticism. It's jealousy to see what a player West Ham United have got at their club. So yeah, for me, another 9. So yeah.
Duke, are you going down the 9 route?
I am, and I'm also giving him my man of the match. Again, he took that one for the team. I thought his ball carrying yesterday was fantastic. His ball retention was absolutely outstanding. He broke up the play. You know, he intercepted. He picked up the man. He squeezed the space. Everything I saw. Just made me remember exactly what I said on Monday night. For his age and his position, he's the best in the world. I don't think there's anyone of his age that even holds a candle to Declan Rice in his position. He can go to any team in the world at club level and does not look out of place. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, PSG, Man U, Man City, Liverpool, call it what you will. He goes there and does not look out of place at one of them clubs. I thought he was absolutely outstanding last night.
Fair enough. I'm also going to give him a 9. I thought he was my man of the match as well, to be honest. I thought he looked more like the Declan Rice that we as West Ham fans have grown accustomed to seeing in a claret and blue shirt than what he's looked in an England shirt up to this point. I think again, he did everything that you want to see in a modern day central midfielder. And, you know, he is a central midfielder now. I mean, a lot of people sort of like, I know, you know, we say he's a defensive midfielder. He is a complete midfielder, ladies and gentlemen. The one thing that is missing from his locker is goals, but I still maintain that he will get them. That will come. But take that to one side, he's got absolutely everything that you want from a central midfielder.
Do you think for the first time yesterday we actually played 2 centre mids instead of a CDM? I think we did. And in the previous games.
Yeah. I think they were central midfielders, not defensive midfielders yesterday.
Their breakup play was fantastic.
Because I think that if you look at the way that Declan was playing, we just concentrate on Declan for a minute. He wasn't playing the same way he played in the previous 3 games. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was given that license by Southgate now to make those forays a little bit further forwards, make those bursts from sort of like from back to front. I think that possibly the reason that Declan Rice's performances were not up to this point what we were accustomed to was because he was fundamentally told by the manager, this is the role I want you to play. I just want you to be the shield in front of the back four. Let Phillips and let Mount or whoever else is there, buzz around and do the sort of like the running for you. You're just the shield. That's it. Whereas yesterday, he was playing more as a sort of box-to-box orthodox midfielder, in my opinion. So, and this is a guy that started out as a defender, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not forget that. Not so long ago, he was playing at centre half. Yeah. So, there you go. Okay, so we move over to the left wing back. So, Mr. Luke Shaw, Milesy.
Okay, this may surprise anyone, but he is my man of the match, and I'm giving him a 10. Luke Shaw.
Oh.
I cannot fault anything he done yesterday. No attacks come from the right hand side, on the German right hand side. Nothing, and the assist for Sterling, the involvement in the second goal as well. He looked fit. He looked strong. And I've not got a bad word to say about him. And I think England may have found Man United a strong position to play the system that we played yesterday and have Luke Shaw as a wing back instead of a left back, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it was a close run thing with me between him and Rice for who should get the man of the match. In the end, I plumped for Rice. And it might be that I'm a biased West Ham fan, but you know, it's my opinion. So
it's all about opinions.
Absolutely. No, but 10, bloody hell. That's impressive. Luke Shaw.
9. His involvement in both the goals. I think it was the second one he broke play up middle of the pitch, and it was very much in the middle of the pitch in the centre circle. Drove forward. I think it was then the ball out wide to Grealish, who then put it in on the Kane's nut. It was brilliant. His cross for Sterling's goal was on point. It was on the money. So yeah, I just thought he was like Andy said there. No breaks down that side. He commanded. He dominated. Again, his ball carrying. Wasn't afraid to go. Wasn't afraid to leave his position and come infield to try and break the play up. Or very much like Declan Rice, out of possession, was very competent in squeezing the space and giving the ball carrying Germans nowhere really to release it to. And that was the one thing that I can say the team did well yesterday. Is they really I've been watching a TV show on Amazon, and one of the catchphrases is "stay liquid" and fill in the gaps. And you know what? That's how the team played yesterday. They filled in the gaps yesterday. They squeezed the space, and basically defied the made the Germans make a pass they didn't want to play. They weren't comfortable with some of the passes. I mean, that through ball to Werner was a cracking through ball. I'm not quite sure it was the ball they wanted to play initially, but it was a great through ball. But we squeezed and we pressed, and Luke Shaw coming in off the flank did exactly that.
Fair enough. I'm going to give him an 8. Again, it was a close run thing between him and Rice for the man of the match. And as I say, if I'm working on the theory that I've given Rice man of the match status by giving him a 9, then I can't really give Shaw a 9 as well.
You can give him. You can give Deck a high 9.
Is that allowed?
You said you were doing it if you're doing the capitals. Remember when we were doing it last week with the scores?
Oh yeah, I suppose I could. All right, I'll give Shaw a 9, but I'll give him a lowercase 9, and Declan gets the uppercase 9. How about that? Does that work?
I feel better now. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, no, okay. I'll go with that. I'll go Shaw 9. Yeah, I thought he was superb down the England left, and the fact that very little came down the right hand side for Germany, which is obviously the flank that Luke Shaw's covering. That fact was not lost on me. He was getting forwards well. He was playing. I remember when he came through at Southampton when he was sort of like 16, 17 years of age. We're going back a little way now, and to be fair, I've not really seen that Luke Shaw terribly often. I mean, that Luke Shaw, I know maybe sort of like playing at a club like Southampton compared to a team with sort of like more expectations like at Manchester United, maybe sort of like he's, played a little bit within himself. I don't know. Maybe he's not been able to express himself. But I think
he's not been the same since he had that big injury, wasn't it? It was the injury a few years ago.
That's another thing that possibly could be something that's played on it. But I think that of late, I've started to see the Luke Shaw that I remember that burst through onto the scene as a youngster when he was at Southampton, seeing him a lot more. So I'm going to go a 9 lowercase compared to Declan Rice, who's the uppercase 9 man of the match. Job done. So we move now into the front 3. So playing on the right of the 3, we had Bakary Saka. So Mr. Miles.
I'm gonna give him a 7, but it's a 7 with a lowercase s because he done well. He done well considering, but Rudiger knew how to play. I know he won a couple of free kicks, but Rudiger's experience, he knows what Saka does when he's played there for Arsenal. I think Rudiger pretty much had close to him really, and I think he kept him quiet, but he didn't do nothing wrong. But yeah, I'll give him a 7 because he did contribute. But yeah, pretty much it I can say about him. Don't really remember him giving me like flashbacks of what he done well yesterday, if that makes sense, compared to others.
Fair enough. Duke?
Fan 8. I didn't think he looked. At no point did I think he looked overawed against a team of good quality players. I think he. I don't think he shied away from receiving the ball. It's not like he kind of tried to hide away from what was going on. He was quite happy to get the ball and try and take players on. You know, he didn't have the same effect as he did the game the other day, but he still had a bloody good game as far as I'm concerned. So for me, Saka gets an 8. And I look forward to seeing more of him, to say the least.
I'm going to say 7, and I actually think he was quite, in some respects, I think he was quite unlucky to get subbed off when he did. I know because he came off and Grealish was the one that they brought on, wasn't it? If I'm not going completely doolally. So I suppose you could say that the Grealish introduction, it worked because obviously he was the guy that assisted one goal and got the pre-assist for the other goal. So that worked. But I actually thought out of the two wide forwards, Sterling and Saka, I actually thought up to the point that he was withdrawn, I thought Saka was actually having the better game. And if there was one of the players that I probably would have pulled off, and I know Sterling went on to get the first goal, but I'm talking about up to that point.
Yeah.
I actually thought that Saka, sorry?
Pulling off players.
Easy. That Saka was probably the one that I would have kept on, and Sterling would have been the one I would have substituted off for Grealish. But again, it shows you exactly what I know about football because Grealish comes on for Saka and we know what happened next. So, but yeah, I'd probably give him a 7. I think he was bright and energetic, and all right, didn't quite have the same impact as he did against the Czech Republic, but I don't think he did himself a disservice by his performance by any stretch. So I'm going to go 7. So the other wide forward then, Mr. Miles, Mr. Raheem Sterling, 3 goals.
He had a bad performance, but I need to give him an 8.
Okay.
Because of his goal. He was there in the right place. Okay, not bad. He gave the ball away too cheaply, in my opinion. His decision making with the
one of them.
Yeah, exactly. The Muller chance. So he was there in the right place, but in my opinion, I don't know where he's playing for England. I don't know where he's playing. So yeah, I'm giving him an 8.
Fair enough. Okay, Mr. Duke.
Steve's been on the herbal stuff, I think.
He doesn't do that anymore.
Can I be honest? Can I be honest? His goal is the only thing that stops him from going below a 6.
Fair enough.
I thought he was too greedy. The amount of times I found myself screaming at the TV, release the fucking ball. As I said earlier, I don't know what he's got a problem with Harry Kane. I don't get it. He doesn't want to pass to him. He loves to go wide, come inside, go wide, come inside. Exactly what he did the other night when he decided to throw himself on the floor like an absolute wanker. Pardon my French, I know we're early. But and then he gave the ball away, which could have well conceded the goal because he tried to do too much. I am in no way, shape or form right now a Sterling fan. I hold my hands up. I think he can have a good game. But more often than not, he's greedy, and there's a distinct possibility going forward that may well end up costing us at some point. So he gets a 6 from me.
A 6? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
the goal was the only thing that
stopped
him going to 5.
Yeah, I'm going to go 7, and again, like you, I think if he hadn't have got the goal, he'd have probably got a 6. As I say, I think that of the two wide forwards, Saka was the one having the better game. But as I say, he's obviously got the goal. He's obviously scored, key goals. He's obviously got the goal in the first game, the goal against the Czech Republic, the goal that set us off and running yesterday. So he's if it hadn't have been for him, we'd been in an awful lot of trouble. I think it may even be, maybe we might even be out of the tournament already. But I got to say, I think other than the goal, I think he had a sort of game, one of those. Do you know what I mean? And
no.
if it had gone another way, he might have been the reason why we possibly lost. Because obviously if Thomas Muller buries that chance and makes it 1-1, it's a completely different game, and who knows what happens from that point onwards. But I'm giving him a 7. It's not a bad mark, but I think that if he hadn't have scored the goal, he'd have probably been a 6.
Oh, I agree. It would have been a 6 for me. But the reason why, like I said, was Lonnie's goal, and I'm giving him 2 for his goal, pretty much. Two ratings for his goal. I didn't like anything else he done, but it wasn't. So maybe I'm being a bit biased on him as well. But
no, that's fair enough. So we come to the last of the starters, Harry Kane. Milesy?
7.
7.
I'm giving him more than Sterling. I know Sterling gave the ball away, but he seemed to have had more influence the game than Kane, if that makes sense. I know they both got the goal, so that was I'm going to give him a 7 because of his goal. It was a good finish, but I'm worried. I'm worried for him. This not a lot of rest time for Ukraine, and I can see him probably being substituted. I don't think he'll do the full 90 either way what the results are going on Saturday. I think they're going to save him for the semi-final. As Duke said, I think he looks absolutely shagged out. So 7 for me.
Fair enough. Duke, your thoughts on England's captain? Don't sit on the fence.
6.
Oh! So if he hadn't got a goal, are we saying that he would have been a 5?
Yeah. I thought his positioning. I thought his desirability. I think his drive, his attitude to the game didn't seem like he wanted to get into any of the positions that he needed to. He didn't seem to attack the ball when the ball came into the box, crosses, etc. Don't know what it was. He seemed to be hanging back a lot. And if I'm honest, I was calling him for him to be subbed at half time, mate. To be perfectly honest with you, I was screaming for Rashford at half time. Rashford and Grealish for Sterling and Kane, I believe I was calling for. So that's where I'm at. I just think it could be that he's knackered. It could be that he's been asked to play a slightly different role than he does at Spurs. I just didn't see the Harry Kane that I've seen previously at Spurs or for England. He just looked knackered, out of sorts. His drive, his desire, the aggression, it just wasn't there for me.
Can I just pick you up on something, Luke? If he's so tired it's affecting his speech, what's his excuse the rest of the time?
Don't know. That's a very good point.
He can barely speak when he's sort of fresh as a daisy. Not that I can understand him anyway. Anyway, I'm going to go a 7 for Kane. Again, I think if he hadn't have got the goal, he'd have probably been a 6. But obviously the goal killed the game. 4 minutes to go, 2-0. That's game over, isn't it? Really, it's just a case of getting yourself over the line from that point in. So the goal was absolutely crucial because with 4 minutes to go, you're only 1-0 up at that point. Never write the Germans off, but that put the final nail in the coffin for Germany. So the goal was really important. Other than that, I probably would have given him a 6. I think it's. You can look at him and you can see he's trying. It's by and large, it's not been coming off for whatever reason. I agree with you. I think it's tiredness.
The difference is with him is the last few games for Tottenham, he had Song and Bale, who are just Bale's hardly played before then, and obviously quite full of energy, and Song's just gives at least a 7 out of 10 all the time for Tottenham. So he's got runners. Sterling doesn't know how to do it, and Saka doesn't know how Kane played either. I think that's impacting on him as well. But yeah, the question is, like, if Kane does get injured, who do you put up there? Do you bring Grealish in and put Sterling through the middle, or do you bring Rashford? Like, it's a question, but it's a good dilemma to have. But it's what do you do?
I think I'd probably go Sterling as a false nine, to be honest. That's my opinion. I know some people are going to say, and I can see Duke shaking his head, you're probably going to say Rashford or Calvert-Lewin, I'm guessing. But I think I'd go with Sterling through the middle. You say who?
Oh, Phil Foden, sorry. Phil Foden is a false nine.
Okay.
That's not a bad shout.
Interesting. But we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously there was a lot of questions, if he goes 4 games consecutive where he's not scored, played ineffectively, surely at some point Gareth Southgate's got to make a big decision, maybe. Yeah. Well, he hasn't got to make that decision now, has he? He scored. So Kane will start the next game. And hopefully this has given him just that little bit of a confidence booster, a little bit of a shot in the arm at the right time. And we'll see something approaching the real Harry Kane in the game against the Ukraine on Saturday. Fingers crossed. I'm not going to bother marking Jordan Henderson because he was only on for a short period of time at the end of the match. But I will mark Mr. Jack Grealish. Milesy.
I'll give him a 7, even though he only played, what did he play, 15 minutes or 15, 17 minutes or whatever. But no, he done well. He was heavily involved in both of the goals. I was just gutted he weren't on the pitch for much longer. But no, a 7 for me. If it wasn't for him, I think we would have been going to pens.
Fair enough. Luke?
I actually thought Grealish did more when he came on the pitch than Harry Kane did for all the moments up to it. So I'm going to give Grealish an 8. I thought his immediate impact was something else. I thought he was solid. I thought it was good to watch. He enjoys getting the ball to feet. He loves, I'll tell you what, I said it earlier to one of my guys here at work. Grealish for England, absolutely love him. Okay. Grealish for Aston Villa is one of them words that I can't. No, it's one of them words I can't say on here because I've had to remove a video for using it once before. And Grealish, if he was to ever put on a West Ham shirt, I would love him the same way I do when he pulls on an England shirt. But I just thought he was outstanding. I know Southgate had an issue with him from before because he refused to go and play for an England under-21 friendly, if I'm right, or he pulled out of a tournament.
And it was when Gareth Southgate was the manager, wasn't it?
When he was the manager, and Southgate has only just forgiven him for that, as far as I understand, which may well be part of why Gareth doesn't want to start him in games. But I just think that's absolute tosh. He's grown up. He was a young lad then. He's still an arsehole, don't get me wrong. And when he throws himself to the floor in a Villa shirt, I want to punch him in the face. If he throws himself to the floor in the final against Italy and we get a penalty and win 1-0, I will kiss his feet.
Fair enough. I also think he was an 8. I mean, what was it? 20 minutes there or thereabouts. He was on 15, 20 minutes. He changed the game. He set up one goal and he got the pre-assist for the other. What more did you expect him to do in the time he had on the pitch? 8. Easy. No problem. And as far as I'm concerned, I think he has to start. I know he's a great option to have from the bench, and if it's a 0-0, blah blah blah. I want to see more of him. I want to see him coming on. I want to see him starting a game and putting in a performance like that, not for 20 minutes, but for 70, 80, 90 minutes, because I think that could be the difference. I think that if he comes on and he starts pulling the strings like he did yesterday in a cameo role, but does it over an extended period of time, I think we could be out of sight by the time 60 minutes comes against Ukraine if we play our cards right. I really do. So I'm going to give him an 8. Easy, no problem at all. So there you go. So that's our review done, gentlemen. Other than for the players, last person to mark is the manager himself, Mr. Gareth Southgate. Milesy.
I'll give him an 8. He got the job done. We out-Germaned Germany, so to speak. My only criticism was the substitutions. I thought a couple of them, we've got 5 subs. Why is he only using 2? I think the Czech Republic game is only the time where he's used 4. All the rest, it's been 2 or 1. So, yeah, I'm going to give him an 8 for that.
Fair enough. Duke?
10.
Ooh.
Perfect.
Wow.
Perfect score. Listen, if we'd lost, he would have got a 0. And let's be perfectly clear. He laid out a team in a way that he felt was going to be the best for him to get the result that he got. His game management, his game plan, the instructions to the players, everything was on point. He got it perfect. We come away with a win. He gets a 10. Job done.
Yeah, I'm going to go a 9.
There you go.
Because as I say, I think that, yeah, we made Germany look very average. The only thing I'd counter with that, Luke, is that they are very average. This Germany team is very average. This is not the Germany team of 1990. This is not the Germany team of 96, of 2014. This is not that vintage. We made them look average because they are, in my opinion. Be that as it may, as I said right at the outset, I was concerned by the lineup we put out. I was quite underwhelmed. I'll be perfectly honest with the lineup that we put out. I looked at it and my first thought was, right, so we've got 7 defensive-minded / defenders on the pitch and only 3 truly offensive players. That's quite an unbalance in my view. But I'm not the England manager. I'm just a guy that sort of comes onto here and sort of gives his opinions along with you guys. And I love the fact that I was proved wrong, because I would have hated to have been sat here right now saying, I told you so, and we got turfed out of the tournament. I'm actually quite comfortable with the fact that team that he put out, plus the substitutes that were introduced, done a number on Germany. Yes, an average Germany team, but you can only beat who's put in front of you. That's not his problem.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna give him a 9. So credit to you, Mr. Gareth Southgate. And as I say, if he keeps on sort of putting teams out that can keep a clean sheet, then it at least gives us a basis to build from. So there you go.
Great.
My brother's turned up. You're late. We matched up man for man. Gareth Southgate done the business. They aren't average. I disagree with you, bruv. I disagree with you. Germany are average, and that's the reason they're out of the tournament. They just beat Portugal 4-2. I don't think Portugal were all that. I'll be brutally honest with you. The only reason that Portugal do what they do is because they've got a world-class talent in Cristiano Ronaldo. The rest of them are bang average. Sorry, just my opinion. There you go.
Joe Felix and bang average as itself.
There you go. Right.
But it's all about opinions, Rob.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But I don't think this is a very good Germany side. There you go. Job done. That's us done for all of our player ratings, manager ratings, and all the rest of it. And obviously we've done what we need to do. Just a couple of things just to end on before I hand the microphone to Mr. Miles. So yesterday we defeated Germany in a competitive game at Wembley for the first time since the 1966 World Cup final, where we've been winless in our previous 3 such encounters. At last, I hear you say. England are only the second side in European Championship history not to concede in any of their first 4 games of an edition of the tournament after Germany in 2016. The only previous time that we did so at a major tournament, either a World Cup or a Euros, it was when we won the 1966 World Cup, ladies and gentlemen. That's got to be a good omen, hasn't it? And this was England's 300th international match at Wembley Stadium. And we remain unbeaten in 15 games at this venue in major tournaments, World Cups and Euros. And we've won 15 of them. How do you like those apples, ladies and gentlemen?
Nice. Very nice.
It's coming home, isn't it? It's coming home, surely.
I think this is our best opportunity to deliver it to the people, yes.
Yeah. My brother's asking, how did we rate Rice? Well, I gave him a 9 and man of the match. Duke, what was yours?
I gave him a 10 and man of the match.
10
no,
and man of the match.
10.
And Milesy?
10. Yeah.
What was yours, Milesy? Was yours an 8?
9, Rice.
9. There you go. So we all gave him a pretty good score. So there you go. Mr. Miles, over to you. You've got a little announcement to make, have you not?
Yeah, for the viewers, I don't know how many's watching. You've got a little sneak preview is of what's been released tomorrow. So one of our regulars, Jazz, and Mr. Gates is actually still going to the event. Booked the West Ham Fan TV night with Julian Dix and Tony Cottee, which is at the end of the month, isn't it? Is it the end of the month? July, sorry, end of July.
29th, if I remember correctly. Just bear with me. I'll have a look in
29th of July.
Carry on.
Yeah, I've just looked. Yeah, 29th of July, I've just looked. And Jazz unfortunately cannot go, and he bought a VIP ticket, which is £90. And what he said was, me and him were talking after Hammer Time last week, he would like to raise some money for Isla. So what we're giving anyone the opportunity is I've got a card here, obviously with the 40 teams, and a football card, I should say, with 40 teams. And what we was going to do is do each team for £10. So you're basically paying a tenner for a £90 ticket, and all the money raised will be going directly for Isla. Fair play to Jazz. It's an amazing gesture, and what we were what we want to do is obviously raise as much money, and obviously Isla, every day is crucial, as Gatesy says every show. And the one thing I want to add as well is, you may have seen me post in the Facebook page and on Twitter, obviously they're also doing a jumble sale in a few weeks' time as well, which is a great touch. And I've had people. I'm speaking to Nicola today. I was actually down the venue where the jumble sale will be held yesterday, and I had like 4 or 5 people go, "I've got all these toys, etc." That people are donating toys as well, which are brand new, to try and help raise money for Isla. And the community is just amazing, like of what's going on. But yeah, this is Jazz's donation, but he's give me the responsibility of doing it. But so if you look out tomorrow on Twitter, it'll be on my Twitter. It'll probably get Gatesy and Duke will retweet it. Jazz will probably retweet it, and all the details on if you want it. The way I see it is a tenner's 2 pints for a VIP event. Sorry. Go on.
Yes, Duke.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Milesy?
Yeah.
Is West Ham on that card?
Yeah.
Stick me down on there for a tenner, mate. I'll have West Ham.
All right. First one.
Boom.
Stick me down for a tenner. Boom.
Can I just because I meant things have been absolutely mad this last month or two. Duke, do you remember Luke said he's got a couple of shirts that he was looking to donate to try and see if we can get a few bob in to the pot for Isla? Well, obviously Luke just put that message there. And I said to him about sort of like, how do you want me to get Duke, Duke, whatever, Luke to post the shirt, get him to send the shirts to you at the pub? Would that be the easiest
Yeah,
way?
because
Obviously
there's always going to be
someone's
someone
there
here.
all the time.
Yeah,
Right. I'll tell you what, just real quick,
guaranteed there'll be
Luke,
someone in the pub when the post turn up. Yeah.
Luke, whilst we're waffling on, if you get yourself a pen and paper, I'm just going to get, where is it? Right. Okay. So that's Duke's pub there. So Luke, do us a favor, mate. Send what you've got to that address there, because that will get to Duke. As I say, the thing with sending it to me is someone may or may not be here, whereas if you send it there, someone's always there pretty much. So that would probably be the best way round. So yeah, if you've got any of them, if you got them shirts still, mate, and you want to donate them and get them to a good home, then send them to Duke and we'll do the rest. And Luke, you are an absolute top
Fucking diamond for that, mate.
Top knob. Because you are our channel knob, as we've already established. So you are a top knob. Well done. Thank you very much, mate.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No.
Fantastic. I've lost my train of thought now. So yeah, so you carry on, Milesy. You was obviously talking about
so
wages are in the air.
Yeah, no. So the event, I won't want to bombard everyone because obviously the Euros and stuff's going on, and we love Isla, but I don't just want people to get thinking. So probably every couple of days I'll put it on the Facebook page and I'll put it on Twitter. One about this, and two about the Jumble Sale, which is in Barking/Dagenham. So if anyone's near that area. You can also have a pint. So if anyone wants to even come and say hello to me, I'll be there all day. Not legless. I'll be steady pace.
You'd be on lemonade, wouldn't you?
Yeah, with a beer in it, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So that's the idea,
Martin,
Jen.
what day is it?
What, the event at the place?
Yes, please.
28.
What day is it on?
Thursday.
What, you on about the meal with Julian Dix?
No, I'm on about the
Jumble Sale.
The Jumble Sale, mate.
I thought that was on a Saturday.
Sunday,
sorry.
Sunday, the 1st of August.
Jake, he's absolutely cool with being described as a knob. In fact, he told me that that's what he wants to be described as. So, who am I to argue?
Yeah, Sunday, the 1st of August, bud.
Lovely. Cheers, mate.
So yeah, so we've got the events. One, obviously, the West Ham one's on the Thursday, and we've also got the Jumble Sale. What?
Have you seen the news? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there.
What, Sancho?
Tottenham's new head coach.
No.
Go on.
Nuno.
Go on.
Espirito
Santo. Okay. Yeah, it's not really a shock.
I wasn't expecting that, and then everyone else has turned them down. Sorry, carry on. I do apologise, Miles.
Yeah, but
that just kind
you're getting excited about a guy. You're getting excited about a guy who took his team to the heady heights of 13th in the Premier League last season.
Yeah,
forgive me if I don't get the punting out
before he got there. But I'm surprised that. I'll be honest. I'm surprised Spurs went for him. That's I think where I'm going with that. Mm-hmm. But Andy, sorry.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Yeah, so like I said, gents, so look out tomorrow. 40 teams. I don't see a tenner being expensive. I don't know about you guys. Obviously, it's not just about winning. It's
ticket. You get to sort of like to actually go, because as Milesy said earlier, I'm actually going to this event myself. Jazz, as he says, Jazz was coming, and then things have sort of like got in the way in his personal life, which is why this ticket's come about. I'm still going, so whoever gets this is going to have the pleasure of my ugly mug sat on the table with them at some point. But basically, you get early access. You get in to have a sit-down meal with Julian Dixon, Tony Cottee. At least that's what I believe. And if that isn't happening, then there'll be hell to pay. But yeah, so I'll be there. As I say, you get sort of like VIP treatment. You can get your bits and pieces signed, selfies. You know, I'm told they're very, very accommodating. They'll do all of that. And then there's like the actual sort of, I believe it's like a Q&A session afterwards and all the rest of it. So I've paid for my ticket for the VIP thing. I paid 90 notes. So that gives you some sort of idea of the value for money you're getting, you know, because you said we're doing it at £10 a pop, are we, Milesy?
Yeah.
So you think about that, you know, you're paying 10 quid for the chance of winning something that's actually 90 quid in value. And if you're a West Ham fan like me, it's actually worth a lot more, because think about it, you're meeting Tony Cottee and Julian Dix, ladies and gentlemen. You're not just meeting them, you're having dinner with them.
And if people asking why I'm not going, is I've got 2 people off in my team, so I've got no chance of finishing early at work that day. So unfortunately, that's the problem. So yeah, but no, look out, gents. Even if you're not interested, as we say on anything like with the 40 goals for Ida, what we're doing, a retweet goes a long way, and someone may be interested. So we'll look out tomorrow for all of the details. And yeah, I think it's a great prize, and well done to Jazz for donating it.
Absolutely. Milesy, you obviously in the private chat, you sent me that link. Did you want me to put that in the live chat for people to have a look on?
Yeah. So obviously, if you want, you can even go West Ham Fan TV. Obviously, I think everyone in this chat knows who they are. They're a good bunch of lads as well.
Yep.
I'm quite friendly with a few of them, and yeah. So even if you're not interested in going into that, there's tickets available on the event, and it gives you more info of what the event entails. So you can even have a look before you let me know. So yeah.
So do you want to put that on the live chat, so if people want to sort of like go and just have a little
nose, you can do,
and see? Okay, right. That is now in the live chat. So if any of you guys want to have a little look at the actual Eventbrite page to see what this ticket is actually all about, it's there in black and white. 10 quid, guys. I mean, you know, that's a deal. Like I say, I paid 90 quid for this. If I could have got it for a tenner, my goodness, I'd have been all over it like a rash. But you know, and don't forget, this is for Isla. So you know, if you want to buy yourself a couple of tickets, even 20 quid, whatever, it's up to you. But it's all going to a very worthwhile cause, and you get to have dinner with Julian Dixon, Tony Cottee. Can't be bad, can it?
No.
Oh,
and that's us done.
Great night out. That's us done, gentlemen. I've got to shoot because I'm needed downstairs. I'm going to let you wrap this up, Gatesy. Or you wrap it up.
Problem,
yeah, all right.
Take care, bro.
See you tomorrow. Take care.
Stay safe.
We always say it's only going to be an hour.
It's wishful thinking.
I know. I know.
But all I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap it up by doing that.
Oh, before you do that, Gatesy.
Yeah.
Hammer time tomorrow. I don't like ending. I don't like ending with something after. I would like to finish with Isla. So yeah, do you want to what we're doing tomorrow? So yeah, hammer time, gents. It's back tomorrow.
Hammer time. 1999-2000, the year we won the Intertoto Cup and qualified for the UEFA Cup. And there was also there was a game that I seem to remember that was quite a few goals scored in it, Milesy, wasn't it, that season?
Yeah, and we got goal of the season as well.
Oh, that was that goal that was sort of
some Italian, wasn't it?
Hit off of his shin, hit off of his shin, and it sort of like spun and beat some world-class Scottish goalkeeper who wasn't actually Scottish, as it turned out, but never mind.
Yeah. But yeah, just wanted to promote that, gents.
No, we'll have
8 o'clock tomorrow. And it may be shorter tomorrow because, unfortunately, Jazzy's not with us, so it's not going to be a marathon.
And guys, you know the drill. This is in the description below on YouTube and Facebook. For those of you that don't know, it's young Isla Caton, who we've obviously just been speaking about. This is who the tickets, the sort of like the raffle tickets will be going towards her treatment fund. And all we ask you to do at the very least is to just copy this and put it on your social media platforms with a little note to your friends and your work colleagues and whoever. what it's all about. She's 6 years of age. She's fighting for her life. Neuroblastoma is the cancer that she's got. No treatment in this country. She's got to go overseas to get it. It's really expensive to fund for the treatment, the flights, the accommodation, yada, yada, yada. So, put this on your social media platform, see if we can get a bit of momentum going. If there's anything you can put into the pot, then so much the better. That's a bonus. And as I say, it's a race against time, ladies and gentlemen. It's a little kid that's fighting for her life. So anything you can put in the pot is appreciated. Anything from £1, but the more the merrier, as always. And I thank you very much indeed for your attention. And the last thing to say, as I was going to say earlier, if you've liked the video, please drop a like on it. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that bell icon to be notified of any news content as and when it is uploaded to the channel. Just going to have a quick look at the messages before I go. It's just Cyber and Luke just having a little back and forth.
430 subscribers, though, Gatesy.
Hey, what?
430 subscribers, though. That's still good. It's going strong.
You sure?
I haven't looked in a while.
Hang on a minute.
Why, they've gone up or down?
Hang on a minute. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, no worries. Good. So, I'm going to wrap it up there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Milesy, for your company.
Are we going to do should we do a Saturday morning preview show? If you're not doing anything Saturday morning?
Yeah, I'll talk to you about it a little bit later.
Yeah, cool.
All right, mate. I'm going to wrap it up there, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks very much for coming. And only one thing left to say, isn't there, Milesy?
We're fucking massive, but unfortunately, football's coming home.
That's it. Football's coming home. Keep believing, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, you irons. 3 lines on a shirt. Jules Rimet still gleaming. Let's do it.